Alright, welcome to another painting tutorial. In this one we're going to look at the Ork Mek, the new plastic one. So I just throw up some these slides here. These are showing the paints I'm going to use, and that'll be at the end of this video as well as on my blog. You also saw that I painted up the shock attack gun and the pain boy. So started off with a black base coat, magnetized that arm, and basically I'm just using a big brush here to blotch on silver on all of the metal bits. And I like to do this first just because it can be a bit messy and takes a bit to clean up. So you just paint all the other colors over top and you're good to go. With a little warp lock bronze there for all of the metal bits. Some wag flesh here now for the flesh tones. So once I've done the metallics, I kind of work from the deepest points in the models up, and flesh tends to be one of the lowest layers on things. Some Skaven Blight Dinge highlighting up the black. I touched up the black off screen. So what I'm doing is I'm preparing everything here for a wash coat first. Mephiston Red, for all the red base colors. So I chose to do this guy as an Evil Sunz mech. I figure there's lots of mechs in the Evil Sunz clan, and that would kind of fit the theme of sort of classic orcs. Basically, pick whatever clan you want and replace the red with their main colors. So Death Skulls will be blue, Bad Moon's yellow, whatever, that sort of thing. Xandri Dust on all of the whatever these are, leather bits or something. I wanted to make those a bit lighter color, any of the strings and that sort of thing. And yeah, you could pick any sort of color for that if you wanted, but that's the one I chose. McCraig Blue for the pants. So again, typical Evil Sunz mech color here. Blue pants, red accent colors, and then everything else is basically standard orcs. Okay, with all those base colors done, now I'm going to put the Agrax Earthshade Wash. So because it's an orc, you know, you can put the brown wash over everything and it's just going to look a bit dirty. So once that's dry, a bit of Averland Sunset on one of these hoses here, just as another accent color. Pick whatever color you want. I just figured red would be a bit redundant, so that's what I did. Warpstone Glow, now this is actually the wrong color. I paint over this, but depending on what kind of shades you like on your boys, this can be a really bright green, kind of a neon green. Here I am fixing it here. So Warboss Green now, and basically covering up all that Warpstone Glow. I like my orcs nice and bright. You may not, so it all depends on what your flavor of orcs are. Okay, so Evil Sunz Scarlet here, painting all the flat surfaces on the red, and just trying to make sure that I don't cover up any of the shady bits. And now I'm just using a cork to hold my guy. It's just a bit easier and makes for a little bit less great videos, so sorry about that. Medium tone blue here, highlighting up the pants. Nothing magical about that. Bit of a gap in the back there, sorry. Should have filled that in before I painted them. Never see that again though. And then I'll be doing the final highlights. There we go, Hoeth Blue. Again, doesn't really matter which set of blues you use, as long as your army is kind of consistent. If you decide to do Evil Sunz, then just pick the same blue for everything. Uriel Yellow highlighting up this hose here. I gave that a bit of a wash. I think it was just the sepia wash. Okay, so highlighting the edges of the silver here, so just try to pick out those edge highlights. Doesn't really matter which silver you use. You know, just one of the brighter silvers works nice. Runefang or it used to be Mithril Silver, that was easier to remember. I guess you can't trademark that though. Okay, so finishing off all that, some of the copper now. So I did some accents with copper, like the front of this flamethrower thing, or Burna, or whatever it is. And some of the little bits on, well, the top, that gear thing there was done that way. So touching up some of the gray highlights here. And doing the final highlight on the green, Scarsnick Green. So just trying to get some of the muscle tone going there. And yeah, not getting it on camera very well. And getting it on his face. So the last highlights, you're just trying to pick up the highest bits there. And same with the red here, Wild Rider Red, just going around all the edges, just trying to make it a bit more contrasty. so it looks good on a tabletop and that sort of thing, or on a shelf, which is where my stuff ends up. So yeah, just picking all the edges. Tellurian sand, highlighting up these. You could use the bone ones too, depends on what types of leather bits you want it. And Karik stone for that. And I did the bone highlights for the teeth on him. And that's basically it. I did the little, some little gray bits here. So I do a checker pattern on the front here. I use the same gray for his apron. Just don't really show it, and it kind of ends up being a whitish color. So you can see it's gray there. And then light gray highlights on these, and I did touch it up a little bit off screen with the black. And that basically finishes off the checkers, a bit on the top of his head. And here's all of the paint guide that I used, more or less. And that'll be on my blog. You don't have to try to pause this video if you don't want. And here's some still images. These will also be on my blog, kind of every angle of this guy. As I mentioned, I magnetized him, so you can check out the video where I showed how to do that. Basically 1/16 magnets, magnet in his arms and a bigger one in his body, but 1/16 would be fine too. Hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to check out all the rest of my stuff on my channel and my blog, and see you next time.